So Angela Smith has been allowed to rejoin Labour. Another day, another hypocritical instance of Labour Party politics. Political lightweight Angela Smith, who left the party to help set up Change UK, has been welcomed back into the party despite standing against Labour in the last election. If you want a reminder of who this is, check this out.
I mean, the recent history of the party I've just left suggests that it's not just about being black or a funny, different from the BME community, but the Jewish community equally, suffers the same kind of cultural alienation.
I'm not saying it's the only form of oppression, it's a very profound form that we have.
So Change UK was largely set up due to the alienation of Corbyn's leadership and specifically his handling of anti-Semitism. So appalled of the apparent widespread racism in Labour, Angela Smith, on the first day of her joining Change UK, looked at Ash Sarkar and described brown people as having a funny tinge. Of course, because it's about brown people, it doesn't really matter. Here's what Ash thinks of the issue. It's incredibly important she has a voice on this since anti-brown racism is clearly not taken seriously. From what I can see, there hasn't been a single political journalist who's asked Labour for comment about readmitting Angela Smith to the party after having made a racist comment on live TV. If Angela Smith had been on the left of the party and had used similarly bizarre language about Jewish people, there'd be no question about renewing her membership. There'd be a media storm about it, not because Jewish people have some kind of special privilege, but because lobby journalists move in herds. Anti-Semitism is the story. As long as it's perceived as an indictment of the left, if you're a left-wing or anti-Zionist Jew, tough luck. Islamophobia, anti-blackness, or discrimination against the GRT community, just not the story, I'm afraid. That's what helps uphold the hierarchy of racism in Labour. A total lack of interest in whether the standards being applied to anti-Semitism are the case for other minority communities, because anti-Semitism is the story and everything else is not. Ash here is making excellent points and quite literally eviscerating establishment journos. Yet this quote tweet from her thread literally proves a point. Fine, let's have some consistency, I support that. The difference here seems to me that the funny tinge comment was embarrassing and awkward racism, whilst the anti-Jewish racism the party suffered was through malicious and intent, and Ash was one of those downplaying it. This is what the hierarchy of racism looks like. Ironically accusing Ash of downplaying racism, here's Twitter user Marky Lott literally downplaying anti-brown racism. The points Ash made in the thread are bang on, but I go further. The hierarchy of racism isn't just bound to the Labour Party. This is a statement from JLM about the Greens. Our letter to the Green Party. The Greens must avoid the temptation of becoming a refuge for those thrown out of Labour for anti-Semitism. As you can see, it's followed by a full statement, and you can go and check it out for yourself. Now, it's really no business for a Labour organisation to tell what other parties should be doing. Now, this statement targets a specific councillor, yet the tweet above warns of the Greens being a refuge of anti-Semites. This is quite clearly code for saying that those who have left Labour are anti-Semitic. Funny, though, how they have targeted the Greens. It's almost as if hundreds of thousands of people joined Labour under Corbyn because it moved to the left, who have subsequently left the party due to Starmer being a right-wing ghoul. So those members are obviously looking for a progressive alternative, meaning the Greens. JLM knows this. They know that people are angry at the rightward drift of Labour. Instead of acknowledging that left-wing people are joining left-wing political parties, they'll just imply they're all anti-Semitic. The Greens have a pretty good chance of winning a second seat in Bristol. Starmer's Labour knows this, and maybe they see them as a threat. So, better attack them, right? Aside from the fact that Smith made a racist comment live on TV, the Labour Party rulebook states that if you stand against the party, you are not allowed to become a member for 5 years. So that leaves almost another 2 years. Now, I know Starmer has aged badly since 2020, but it's not been that long. This just demonstrates that Starmer is desperate to not only get his mates back into the fold, but he also wants to, seemingly, bring people into the party who have historically opposed Labour.